Welcome to Savvy Business, Life Unscripted, with your host, Christina Rivera, where our guests share their wisdom and valuable business tips, empowering our audience to expand their personal potential.
Hi, Dr. Haley Perlus. Welcome back to Savvy Broadcasting. I'm so grateful to have you back here today. We chatted a bit ago, but I wanted to have you back because we talked earlier in the year, just when people are getting their resolutions off the ground. And one of the biggest ones is, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to lose weight. But more importantly, all right, let's say you lose the weight. How do you maintain a healthy lifestyle that carries you to the rest of your life here? Because you want to have a quality of life. It's not just, oh, do I look good in the mirror? How do I feel and how is my body? Because you want to have, like, there's some people get to 60 years old and they just feel horrible. Their health is horrible. And so more importantly, healthy lifestyle is more important than how thin you look.
I think so. How thin and the goals, it takes us on that yo-yo where we want to just maintain health in order for us to be our happiest, our healthiest, and just go out there and enjoy life.
Exactly. You know, it's interesting because my mom had a super sweet tooth and she used to eat, I used to say, I don't know how you're alive, because her two things she ate every day were a cheeseburger, fries, and cake and alcohol. Oh, and did I forget coffee? But when she hit 60, she was really in a world of hurt, really feeling bad in her body. So tell me, what have you learned along your journey working with your clients as far as some of the main challenges to maintaining a healthy lifestyle, and how have you helped your clients overcome them?
Sure. Great question, Christina. I actually believe in indulging. I don't believe in overindulging, but trying to restrict ourselves just strengthens the bond between us and that unhealthy behavior. So I'm actually good with a little bit of indulgence, but here's the thing. I want you to be really selective on not just your want foods, meaning the indulgences, but go for the wants. So I'll give you an example using myself. I love Nutella. I love chocolate. I love Nutella. I don't really care for the chips and the salty foods. But if I try to deprive myself of all things unhealthy, I will want everything unhealthy.
Yeah.
But if I go for just my wants in my chocolate, I don't need the extras, and I can just have some indulgence, own it, be okay with it, and then move on. I don't have to have all these big stories trying to deprive myself. And then when I finally give in, which is every one of us, we overindulge and then we feel guilty.
Yeah.
We don't want that guilt. We don't want that deprivation. Have your wants simply because you're allowing yourself to indulge a little bit and then move on with your day.
Yeah, I love that. I had made a pact with myself. I had said on our last call together that I had lost a bunch of weight, but my goal getting started wasn't so much lose weight. It was get away from the diabetes line that I was heading towards. And I'm glad I'm away from that line. But what's interesting is I now decided that every couple months, if I really, really want an exceptional piece of pastry at a bakery, not just something like, packaged good, whatever, but something exceptional, I'd have it because it's fresh from the bakery. You know what I mean? Not just as you say, just the average cookie, but something that's exceptional. And then it makes it all that much worth it. And you're still getting to, people are like, well, how are you able to have that? It's like, because I'm not having it every day, or as I was in the past, several times a day.
Right. And the stress that we put ourselves, the emotional angst that we add, again, trying to stay away from it, only to give in to temptation and then overdo it and then the guilt, that stress increases hormones, certain hormones and chemicals that allow us to retain inflammation and weight. So we got to have a more of an easy go. And then like you said, and like I said, go for the exceptional, your want.
Yeah. And something else I found out, Haley, is that replacing things with more healthier options, like I liked having in my coffee, I was having sugar and tons of dark chocolate syrup. I had found a monk fruit dark chocolate syrup, and guess what? It tastes awesome. And I found a homemade caramel that's made from a couple's home that has almost no sugar in it, minimal, like 5 grams of sugar for a serving. And you know what? I'm still getting that little, bit in my coffee, but feeling awesome afterward. And I think that's the key, replacing maybe what you did beforehand with healthier options. So you're, as you said, you're not also denying yourself, but you're just replacing with something a little healthier.
Yeah, just make sure that what you are replacing it with is in fact healthier. Because
Yeah.
if it may not have one ingredient, but it may have many others that you want to stay away with from. I want to stay away from too. So
Yeah.
like your examples were really good examples. But other times, we'll remove for those people who want to remove gluten, for example. I have not given an opinion one way or the other, but if
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
remove gluten, often they put other things into that food. So you just want to make sure that when you are replacing it, you're doing your due diligence and your research.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was eating some of the processed gluten-free or keto-free, and a lot of the pre-packaged items, I think, is where the problems come in. And I was buying these granola type things made with seed oil, and I heard that they are really, really bad for your body and don't do good things for you. Do you know anything about that?
Really just depends. I don't know what type
Mhm.
of seed oil the bars would be in. It really just depends on how your body processes it and digests it.
Mhm.
But I'm just asking everyone to just be on alert. But I
Yeah.
do agree with you that with the main principle of
Mhm.
replacing one unhealthy food with another, even though you kind of get a similar satisfaction and similar enjoyable experience.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to movement. I have a couple friends on the property I live here on, and they're older and they haven't moved a bunch in their life to begin with. So I think the hardest bit about adding movement into your life, if it hasn't been constant or even something you've had as a part of your life, you're like, where do I even begin? Because it seems so arduous. Just I'm going to go exercise. How do you suggest someone get started with that?
I have two strategies,
Mhm.
and they're a little bit different because there's exercise, which is challenging, even though you want it to be safe. You want to challenge your body, and you want to increase your muscular strength, increase your cardiovascular. But then there's also just movement, which is getting blood circulating, carrying blood carries oxygen, energy. So it's
Mhm.
two different types. So the first one is a lot of people find it difficult to exercise because they feel tired.
Mhm.
Well, if you're sitting all day and you're not moving, blood's not circulating through your body, it's just pooling. We are, in fact, losing energy. You think rest renews energy, which it does, but too much rest makes us tired. So, the first thing that I would recommend is that we move every hour, even if it's just 1 to 2 minutes of just,
Mhm.
you know, short, small muscle movements or stretching or
Mhm.
large muscle movements when you get up and sit down or go for just a 2 minute walk.
Mhm.
Just get the blood circulating frequently throughout the day, which will energize us, making it more easy to feel energized for exercise. So
Mhm.
that's strategy number one.
Good one.
Strategy number two is people come to me all the time and ask me to help them fall in love with exercise. I've exercised my entire life. I was an athlete, still am. I can't tell you that I love every minute of exercise. So here's a better question. What do you already love to do? Do you love to be social? Do you love to learn new things? Do you love competition? Do you love outdoors? If you love the outdoors, do not exercise inside. If you love to learn new things, do not get on the treadmill. We already know how to walk right, left, right, left. Pick up something new. If you love competition, set some real goals where you're either competing with yourself or you're in healthy competition with others. If you like to
Mhm.
be social, do not exercise by yourself. So ask yourself what it is that will already motivate you, and
Mhm.
then go find an exercise program that satisfies that love and motivation.
Ooh, I totally love that you went there because so many people will try to fit themselves in the package. Oh, I got to go lift weights. And you're like, I totally hate that. And you're not going to stick to it. You're going to do it for a bit because just like when you go on a diet, I want to lose the weight, but you're not going to want to stick to it forever. But I love if you love to be social, find other people that can go do it with you. It'll keep you accountable and enjoy the process more. I see a guy and a gal at the gym I go to, and they started working out with the trainer together, both the husband and wife. And now they go 3 times a week with together as a couple and motivate each other to work out. So it's worked out so well for them adding that together.
I do it. I actually did this just yesterday with myself. I'm visiting with my family, and I actually, like I said, I've been exercising all my life, but weight training is not my favorite thing to do. But I now am seeing a need for it, just
Yeah.
wanting certain goals for myself. But weight training isn't my favorite thing. Well, I love hanging out with my significant other, and he does TRX weight training. So he and I went out onto the. I brought it with us. We went out onto the driveway, and we worked out together. So I loved being with him. And then my father came and joined us, and then it was a family event.
That's awesome.
But we were focusing on that, even though I was doing my weightlifting, but
Mm.
putting myself inside in a gym with handbells, staring at myself in the mirror, is not going to help me want to do it again and again and again.
Mm. Totally true. And one thing I really enjoy, you mentioned being social. A lot of girls like to get together and maybe go have eats at their favorite eatery or pastry place. And one gal had said to me, hey, if you like to get out with your friends, maybe make a walking event of it where all your friends go out and maybe get a cup of tea that you drink on the way, but you're moving nonetheless and still having that social time together.
I love it.
Yeah,
Again, ask yourself
I
what
love
you
that.
love to do, and then figure out how to attach healthiness to your existing love.
That's great. And you mentioned something else about sitting all day, that rest and too much rest can get you overly tired. And the same goes if you have a desk job. I mean, maybe it's not overly tired, but your brain gets tired because you are using physical, mental stress just to operate your brain to do your job all day long, and you need to replenish there. So sometimes I notice at the end of the day, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go work out. I don't want to go do anything. But it's funny, you say sometimes you're not really jazzed about it. But sometimes when I just say, let me just go and take the movements towards it. And once you get moving, all of a sudden you find it's not so bad once you're getting going.
So you bring up a great point, Christina. At the end of the day, for people who are working all day, sitting like we are right now, the research is, and I don't want to point fingers because I don't know everyone who's listening, but some of us are inactive 8 hours of the day, not including sleep. And that research was taken before COVID. And now orthopedic surgeons are, using the term pandemic posture, because
Whoa.
we're sitting more than we ever have. So the fingers are like this, we're hunched in, and we're going all day. Now, you are absolutely right. At the end of the day, we say we want to exercise, we want to move, but we're too tired. Well, what's the truth? And this is actually some cognitive reframing. What is the truth? The truth is that yes, we are all emotionally and mentally exhausted, but we are quite physically well rested. We have not been moving all day. So let's get up, like you said, grab it, get our momentum going towards movement. Maybe just set a goal for 5 minutes of movement, see what happens. But movement is scientifically the best way to change our emotional state from a negative to a positive. So we're really getting both benefits. We're starting to move our body, which is going to create energy, and also the health benefits of movement. It's also the best way to recover our mind and our emotions and put us from a negative to a positive. And when we go with just 5 minutes, just set a goal for 5 minutes and see where it takes you. I'll be honest, I have an indoor bike, so sometimes I don't want to go and I'll just challenge myself to 5 minutes. Probably 95% of the time, I'm not going to lie and say 100, but probably 95% of the time I stay on and I get an actual workout in.
That's awesome.
And so we just have to challenge ourselves.
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier. Find the thing that jazzes you. Like, for one, I like being outdoors. Right now, it's summer. Great time to be outdoors. I recently bought a bike. I hadn't ridden a bike since I was 10 years old. Oh my gosh. So much
just
fun.
Like riding a bike?
Yeah, actually, it wasn't at first. I was topsy-turvy, almost falling apart. My husband did not believe I ever rode a bike. He's like, you're lying. I don't, no, I was on it all the time at 10 years old. But, now I'm 50, so it's been a few years. But I'm starting to get the hang of it. And now, like you said, once I get out there, I said, I'll just go around the block with the bike, see how I feel. And before you know it, I've done several miles because, like you said, just that beginning, getting going is probably the biggest hurdle for most people.
I have one more tip if I can sneak one in.
Let's do it.
If you know that, let's say the end of the day is 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and you know that you are in the pattern of saying that you're too tired, instead of at 5 o'clock, at 4:30, at 4:45, so before it's time to move, start playing that psych up music, start playing that feel good music, start connecting with friends, start putting out your affirmations. At beforehand, start getting yourself ready. I don't recommend people to wait until they get on the exercise machine to start listening to music. I recommend, if music is what motivates you, which does for many, start playing that music ahead of time, pre-performance routine, pre-health routine. And then you play it, you get the energy going, which makes it easier to get up and move.
That's great. Now, I have one more thing I'd like to ask you about. A lot of people have come to me and said, I just don't know how to cook healthy, and healthy food is boring. What would be your tip for them on that?
And I get it. I am so plain Jane. I will tell you, I am known for just adding water. Literally, I make soup with 3 ingredients, 3 vegetables, onions, 2 vegetables, and I just add water. So I'm plain Jane.
Mm.
I like to experiment. So definitely look into your health cookbooks, right? And see if you can explore, because there is now so many healthy options.
Mm.
But I also recommend finding excitement and enthusiasm elsewhere. Let your food, for most of the part, maybe 80%, be medicine, be energy. Remember, I do like to indulge,
Mhm.
but then really make sure that you're engaging in your hobbies and your outdoor activities. So it's not just food that needs to be exciting, because you're getting your excitement elsewhere. And so then food is really for medicine and for health, so that you can enjoy all the excitement outside of the mealtime.
Yeah, I totally get you. And what I've started adding sometimes is just some spices, because sometimes just a few added spices can make the world of difference for, the thing you're eating. If you make it the same all the time and you make a grilled chicken, you put the exact same spices or make it the same way, you're like, this is boring. But change it up a bit, adding some ingredients or spices different, experimenting a bit. I just experimented last week adding some kind of new barbecue thing, and I was like, whoa, this is much more interesting. So yeah,
Yeah.
make all the
So
world
then,
of
you
a
know
difference.
what? So let's take our 2 suggestions together.
Mm,
And you have your healthy meal, and then instead of making it boring, so it's just, and I think boring means just repetition. I'm doing the same
yeah.
thing all the time.
Yeah.
Just do a little search, do some research for that dish, and just add to see if you can literally spice it up with different healthy options.
Hmm.
And not there is we certainly have a lot of variety out there. We just need
Oh
to go
yeah.
and grab it.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, so it makes it fun. It doesn't have to be arduous. Well, I just thank you again. You've given so much food for thought for people wondering, how do I even get started? Just bit by bit. Just get started with one thing today, and you don't have to conquer it all. I think that's one thing people feel when they get on the journey to a healthier lifestyle. They're thinking, oh, it's too big. But, maybe just start with, like you said, how can we just make my meals a little healthier? Or how can I just get up and do a walk around the block, or whatever it might be, but just bit by bit.
And focus on what you are doing instead of what you're not doing. So
Boom.
every day when you go to sleep, what did I achieve today? And what do I get to do next instead of what I have to do next? What do I
Ooh, ooh.
get to do next? So that again is giving yourself, it's like you said, step by step. We talk about reframing the win. It doesn't have to be this big result. The day-to-day wins.
Yeah, I love it because yeah, you can knock yourself out. Focus on what you're winning at, what you're doing well at, and go bit by bit. I have to thank you again, Dr. Perlus, for coming to Savvy Broadcasting and share your great wisdom. Where can people find out more about you, work with you? How can they do that?
Best place is just to my website, because you can connect with me directly. Dr. just Dr. Haley, Haley, Perlus, Perlus.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again for coming to Savvy Broadcasting, and have a wonderful day.
You too.
Like, subscribe, and share this episode. To listen to more savvy episodes and savvy biz tips, go to www.lifeunscriptedradio.com. To find out about our paid sponsorship opportunities or how to become a guest, email Christina at lifeunscriptedradio.com.